In life, there are many things that you would be a whole lot better off if you just avoided. Things like what? I don't know. Things like smoking. Tell me that when a crab gets addicted to smoking, it isn't a drug. There are things that are more subtle, though, that you should probably be avoiding for your safety, like tires. Did you know tires are dangerous? That tire had it out for that guy. Yes. When the tires fall down, so do your pants. So be very careful. What else should we avoid? Well, things like falling trees. Or things like whatever in the world this thing is. That is made up of my nightmares. I don't even know what it is. All I know is that it was found in Bruin Creek. I'm just kidding, but you probably wouldn't be surprised if it were, now would you? You know, in the Bible, God is constantly giving us lists, or giving lists to his nation of things that they should avoid. He tells them about foods that will make them sick, or people that they should stay away from, or sins that they should evade at all costs. They're taught for their well-being. That's why he puts it in there. He shares with them things that they should keep clear of. A list of these things can be found in the book of Leviticus. There were health laws, including things that their nation should do to stay clean. And the whole 13th chapter of Leviticus is actually all about rashes and skin ailments. Yeah, God goes through a list and tells people which skin conditions are to be considered unclean and which ones aren't. It gives characteristics that if someone has this particular thing, they would need to be isolated from anyone else until the condition goes away and the priest can clear them as being clean. It helps them know which conditions they have to isolate for and which ones they don't. One of these conditions back then, which required strict isolation, was leprosy. If you had leprosy, not only were you supposed to live apart from everyone, but you also had rules of what you were supposed to do if someone was accidentally coming close to you. Listen to Leviticus 13:5 to hear exactly what they were supposed to do. Anyone with such a defiling disease must wear torn clothes, let their hair be unkempt, cover the lower part of their face, and cry out, "Unclean! Unclean!" As long as they have the disease, they remain unclean. They must live alone. They must live outside the camp. Did you get that? So if a leper was traveling down the road and they saw you up ahead, they would have to identify themselves by yelling, "Unclean! Unclean!" That way they would have enough time to be able to get out of the way for you to come through. And if they didn't do this, then that would be grounds for some serious punishment. Why such a strict stance? I mean, yelling unclean and getting out of the row, not even being able to comb your hair. It had to stay unkempt. Torn clothes. I mean, that seems like a pretty rigid sort of set of rules to have to follow. Well, it's because leprosy was dangerous. Did you know that to this day, we're not even sure exactly how leprosy is passed? They think that it may be through tiny droplets of water, which are expelled by a person through things like coughing or sneezing. What exactly is leprosy, anyway, that we're supposed to be afraid of? I mean, I know that we know it's a word that we're supposed to be afraid of, but what precisely is it? You know, we're not super familiar with it these days because it's not something that we really face today, being in a developed nation. But in third world countries, it's actually something that's still pretty devastating to certain parts of their population. You see, leprosy is a rare skin condition which will affect people in a couple of different ways, none of them good. First, you can get discoloration of the skin, which can then turn into boils and pretty much can go anywhere, all over your body, including your scalp. These boils, if they are on you long enough, can eventually make their way to your bones, becoming even more painful. If severe enough, leprosy will attack your organs, causing organ failure and even death. And if it doesn't kill you from organ failure, it's got a couple more tricks up its sleeve. It can destroy your vision and make you go blind. Probably most famously, it deadens your nerves in your fingers and toes, and sometimes even your face. This leads to no feeling in your hands or your feet. And when you have no feelings in your hands or your feet, you can break a toe or a finger and not even know it. You can get an infection from a bad burn and have no idea that it's happening. This is why so many lepers are found to be missing fingers and toes. It's not from the disease itself, but from the complications that come with the loss of feeling. Modern day leprosy, it is curable if it is detected early enough. But if treatment isn't started early, well, then it still will kill you to this day, and there's nothing that science or doctors can do about that. And back in Jesus' day, didn't matter when you detected it, there was no treatment. You were sent away from your family. You were forced to live with other lepers until the day that this awful disease took your life. So you would be crazy to go near someone with leprosy. And if they were approaching you, it was completely within your right to protect your life by even taking theirs if necessary. And that's why in today's story, what Jesus did would have been considered crazy even for him. Knowing everything that you know, I want to now show you a clip. It's from a TV series called The Chosen. And this series does an incredible job of showing all of the emotions which could have been present during these amazing miracles which took place. Watch this.
Not to spoil this beautiful day or anything, huh? Come on.
Huh? It's a leper. Stay back. Cover your mouth. Don't breathe his air. Don't come any closer.
It's okay, John. It's okay.
Rabbi, you cannot. His disease, you can...
Please. Please. Please don't turn away from me. I won't.
Lord, if you are willing, you can make me clean. Only if you want to, I submit to you. My sister, she was a servant at the wedding. She told me what you can do. I know you can heal me if you are willing.
I am willing. Be cleansed.
Thank you. I know it. I know it. I know it. What can I ever do?
No. Do not say anything to anyone.
You don't seek your own honor?
Please just do me this one thing.
But what do I tell people?
Go. Show yourself to the priest. Let them inspect you and see that you are cleansed. Make the proper offering in the temple as Moses commanded. And go on your way. Who has an extra tunic? Just one of you, just one of you. That's enough. Green is definitely your color. Not too shabby.
Hands down, the best show ever to be on television, in my personal opinion. I just can't get enough of it. And now, you may understand why I'm going to do a Bible study incorporating these videos into a discussion of the Scripture. Because I think it brings the Scripture to life. It brings out some of the possibilities of what people were feeling during these amazing moments, and it humanizes them. It allows you to see them as people going through real things, just like you and me. And when I watch this video, there's so many emotions, just so many emotions which would have been possible or even likely with this particular story. I mean, could you imagine the emotions just flowing on this day? A man without hope, except for a miracle. There was a miracle worker who maybe, just maybe, would be able to cure this awful disease and save his life. And he's approaching a group, however, that may or may not violently turn him away. The disciples, what emotions were they going through? Fear, of course, and not even just for themselves, but for their rabbi. Does the rabbi not understand what this man is or how to stay safe? The leper had no idea how Jesus would respond. But what did Jesus do? Well, Jesus' emotion was always kindness and lovingness. He always wanted to be there for the hurting. And in this instance, Jesus could have healed him. He could have said, stop where you are, and I'm going to go ahead and heal you from there. But he didn't. Scripture tells us that he didn't. Jesus walked up to the man. He got on his level, and he touched him and healed him. Jesus was willing to risk becoming unclean just to show him how much he loved him and he meant to him. Jesus truly loved this man. And that love is what God used to heal him. You know, leprosy may not be prevalent in our society, but that doesn't stop us from treating certain people like lepers, or certain groups even. We all have lepers in our lives, don't we? Groups that we are dead set against. Organizations who immediately get our disdain. People who we want to have absolutely nothing to do with. People who are living lifestyles which we object to. People who we try to avoid because we do not like them. You have lepers in your lives. Who's a leper in your life? And I really want you to stop and think about this for a moment, because we all have them. Who is the person that you do not want to be around? Who is the person that annoys you? The person that you can't stand? The person who immediately sets you off? The person who you can feel your blood pressure rising just by looking at them? Who is your leper? Has someone come to mind? Or are you afraid to let anyone come to mind because you know what comes next? We don't like what comes next. What comes next? God's challenge. How would your life be different if you actually took the time to love your leper the way that Jesus loved his? How different would it be if you actually got down on their level? How different would it be if you sought them out instead of running away? How different would it be if you loved them in a genuine way that wanted what was best for them? God was able to heal this leper through Jesus' incredible love. And he has the potential to do just the same to the lepers in our lives. But only if we are willing to be his hands, to be his feet, to be his heart, and reach out to the hurting. Only if we are willing to get down onto their level and look them in the eyes and to see things through their eyes. Only if we are willing to sacrifice of our own health so that they may be changed. Who are your lepers? Now, what are you going to do to love them? Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Take care. God bless. Hope to see you soon.